We want to talk about how you can arrange in the Maschine Plus. The arranger is something that a lot of people have to get used to when they're trying to actually make their songs. And I always want you to remember this thing: sounds, groups, patterns, ideas, and then scenes. If you remember that structure, sounds, groups, patterns, ideas, and scenes, you'll get a general understanding of how we make music within the Maschine Plus and the Maschine software. You always want to start off with great sound selection. We got our sounds. From our sounds, we would make a particular drum pattern. We would build out the entire song. As you can see, I have different groups laid out with different types of instruments. One has filler drum sound. One has the sample. One has like the keyboard or the drums. And then one has like other elements, maybe vinyl sounds. And after that, I want to combine everything together to build a song. If we go, you can create a new pattern just by clicking on pattern, and then you can start making different elements of the song in there. Here in pattern, you'll see I have 4 different patterns, and each pattern has a different part of the sample. Go here. And then the last one. Those are the 4 different patterns that I have. We're trying to add different elements or different patterns so that you can really engage the listener into your music. I'm gonna go back to pattern mode, put it back on 1, because for the chorus or for the intro, I'm using pattern 1. So as you can see, your ideas are structured by your patterns. So I want to go here to ideas mode. To do that, just click ideas. So as you can see here, we have different things taking place here. We have the verse, the chorus, an intro, another intro, and then we have other elements in the song as well. You don't necessarily need to know music theory in order to make the best song. But if you understand song structure, like your intro, your chorus, your verse, your pre-chorus, your vamp, your bridge, shift and change them and rearrange them so that you can actually make different songs and different elements. Rodney Jerkins always said,
every 4 to 8 bars, something has to happen. It's very important because I don't want to bore people.
I like to build a substitution. We start with the main part of the song. So I'm going to go here to my chorus. My chorus is going to have everything in it. This is kind of what we'll build out. I'm going to play the chorus right here. The beauty of Maschine, each group adds to a particular verse, chorus, or intro. If I go here to the intro, you see I only have certain elements here. I have the chorus, it says chorus, but in here, in this pattern here, pattern 2, this is just the sample. One thing you should do is you label what each element is, what each group is. Once you label each group, it's better for you to understand what you're actually doing. So here I have drum sounds. Here I have the melodic sample, the actual record sample, more drum sounds. And then here I have different patterns. Ideas mode is how you're going to compile all your elements together. If I go here to my intro, you'll hear things like this. And pretty much that's just a sample. I have this sample in different patterns. That's why I said sample, group to your patterns, then your ideas can compile your scenes. Let's go back to ideas. And this is for the intro, pattern 1. Then I'm going to intro part 2. Here's my 4th bar, and I'm adding another element. Here, I have something happening in verse. Typically, the verse, this is when Pastor YPJ starts preaching at that point, but it adds a different dynamic to the song. Here we have the drum sample. This group is my drum sample. Now, I'm gonna start playing. That's just to add more to the introduction. When that's done, then the drums come in. So let's listen at how the verse sounds. I kind of want to step it up a bit. I'm going to the chorus. In the chorus, I have more elements added. Pretty much everything is being used. It's the highest part of the song. This is why the ideas section is so great. After you generate your ideas, then you can go into song mode and start arranging the way you want. Or you can, if you shift scene, now you can also arrange in the section mode where you can start going into each section. If you look, it still looks like it's the arranger mode. Remember, I said understand song structure, your intro, your verse, your chorus, your bridge, your pre-chorus. When you understand song structure, you can make a great song. I'm going to play it from the beginning, and then I'll break down some more of the elements.
Even some of the preaching that is presented to us has become toxic to the advancement of the kingdom. Because in our efforts to gain likes, amens, and views, we say things that cater to the carnality of our selfishness. So you hear things like, stay away from people that do this. Stay away from people that do that. And whereas there are times where you must avoid individuals who can hinder your progress, the wording of the kingdom should not be one that speaks to who we should stay away from, but rather who we should be around. So instead of saying stay away from people who don't support you, the kingdom should be saying surround yourself with people that do support you.
So as it keeps going, it gets into the chorus and it gets a little higher. But then I want to have my intro here. I'm going to go here. It's good to understand this section. I have my intro, second part of my intro, my verse. All different things are taking place, and I actually have it labeled here. The structure is kind of laid out. I break everything down because I want subtle changes within the song. So that may be a 3-bar change or a 2-bar change or even a 1-bar change. With that being said, what I would do is I would come here and then you select a scene. So you can select your verse, your chorus, your intro, things of that nature. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select verse because we're going to move back into the verse. Once you select the verse, it's already going to select the position. That's the 12th position of the song. Here's the scene, which is a verse, and then here's the length. So one thing I always recommend is right down here, it says loop. You want to hold shift and then make sure your loop is on. Right now, if I do shift and hold loop, you can see the loop is off, but I'm going to turn it on. It'll highlight once it's off. As you can see, it's highlighting. So my loop is on. Once you get your loop on, so if you hold this and hold loop like this, as you can see, everything changed here. Now you could change the start point of your loop. And I'm highlighting all loops because I want everything to loop. If you hold shift and go into song mode, you can also go into the clip mode too. And when you go into clip mode, you can make different clips within the song. This was just a short overview on how you can arrange within the Maschine Plus. So here's some things that I need you to consider. Remember, sounds. Your sound selection is very important. Once you have your sounds, you kind of want to build out your song. You want to build out what we call patterns. After that, you want to structure your patterns. Go into ideas mode. Once you go into ideas mode, you can create a number of different patterns, and you can start to enter in the components that you built, or your different patterns or your different scenes that you have created. And that's how I make my songs within the Maschine Plus.
Even some of the preaching that is presented to us has become toxic to the advancement of the kingdom. Because in our efforts to gain likes, amens, and views, we say things that cater to the carnality of our selfishness. So you hear things like, stay away from people that do this. Stay away from people that do that. And whereas there are times where you must avoid individuals who can hinder your progress, the wording of the kingdom should not be one that speaks to who we should stay away from, but rather who we should be around. So instead of saying stay away from people who don't support you, the kingdom should be saying surround yourself with people that do support you, as opposed to saying stay away from people